Well, sorry, you guys are on a little bit of a angle there. Oh, Marvy's out with new friends. Behave yourself, Marvs. I am off to the feed store. There's a feed store kind of close by. And I'm also going to pick up fuel. The reason why I'm going to the feed store is I'm going to train Tuey today for the first time in a very, very long time. So even 2 months ago, something like that, I made the first video of Tuey getting trained, and he was great. He was so sweet. And then immediately after we made that video, he actually got bit on the leg and got a crazy infection from that bite. And so then he had to go on some pretty extreme antibiotics. And then the infection cleared. It took like a month. And then after that, he was left with like a bit of a hematoma on his leg. And so anyway, I was like, what can we do about this? So we've been putting heat on it. We've put sweat wrap on it. We've done all the things that you're supposed to do. Like, there's no open cut now. It's just like this bit of a hematoma. If you don't know what a hematoma is, it's basically like a bruise. It's a pool of blood underneath the skin. Sorry, I'm on a gravel road here. About to get on the highway though. Anyway, so it's a pool of blood underneath the skin that just gets old, and then it kind of just gets like hard and firm. So anyway, we've had the vet out and we've made up a plan. We're gonna shockwave it, but in the meantime, he's been cleared to go back to work, which is pretty great. So, and like, keep in mind the work that he does as he's turning 3 this year, it's not big. We're just basically doing all the pre-work before he gets backed. So he's not by any means stressing out his body, his leg, anything at all. We're working his little noggin. But anyway, since he's been cleared to go back to work, I'm going to clicker train him the words walk, trot, canter. And then when he can do it at liberty, walk, trot, canter, and park, or halt, whichever word. I think I'm going to use park because that's the word I used to use a long time ago. And it's probably more natural for me than saying halt. Anyway, we're going to clicker train him those words. We're also going to teach him that when you kind of shake a dressage whip and it makes this kind of like whirling sound, that means go forward. And so then once he knows those two things, then it's time to start like putting the saddle on him, putting bridle on him, and then backing him. And then when you get on him, you can say the words walk, trot, canter. He'll know exactly what you mean. And you can introduce, your legs to the whole situation. So like if I say the word trot and I squeeze, eventually I don't have to say the word trot anymore because he'll know, oh, okay, the squeeze means trot. So it's just like transferring something on the ground into the saddle, and then eventually he doesn't need the words. So anyway, that's how I like to back my horses. I hate the word break, but that's how I like to back my horses, because it just gets them like a clear understanding of what I want in a new situation. Goodness, this camera is shaking all over the place. You're probably getting dizzy. I apologize. So, on my way to get a bit of fuel, as well as those treats. It's pretty close by, so I'll be back at the farm quickly. And then after that, I have to decide. So Monday and Tuesday, I generally do paperwork or video editing, that type of thing, or contacting new clients or like stuff like that. But I've caught up on a lot of the paperwork. I haven't caught up on editing though. I have so much editing to do. So I have to decide whether I'm going to ride afterwards. I think I will. Yes, I definitely will. But that's going to be the day. And then later on this evening, I coach. Okay, where are the treats? Oh, only one more peppermint left. What are these? To go. Okay, I actually realized that we are out of milk, so I decided to come a little bit further to the next town to grab some essentials for food because I am on this incredible health kick. I started a couple weeks ago and I'm so proud of myself. I got a trampoline, a rebounder, like a bigger one, and it's been life-changing. Like, everyone in my house got sick but me, and I know it's because of bouncing on that trampoline. And also just like I feel like I have more time now to take care of myself, and part of that is just eating right. So I'm gonna grab some quick essentials and then go get fuel. As per usual, I forgot the bags in the car, so I'll be bagging it right now. Okay, grocery shopping is done. On my way to go get fuel, but I just wanted to take a minute to tell you guys about our weather. It is March 17th today, something like that, 16th or 17th. And the amount of snow that we have is ridiculous. Like, I follow a bunch of YouTubers kind of all over the world. And like, some of them are cutting their grass. And let me show you. Let me flip the camera and show you what I'm looking at. That's how much snow we have. Look at the parking lot of Safeway. There are snow drifts that are taller than I am. Like, because in the winter they push all the snow into piles. And even just like for this street, there's snow drifts taller than me in these piles. To say that myself and fellow Winnipeggers are tired of the snow is probably an understatement. The other thing is, yesterday, I kid you not, was minus 30 in March. Like, we had a pretty warm winter. I think, yeah, right up until January, and then February came, and February and March just got very, very cold. It's incredibly annoying, especially when you're a horse trainer. All right, let's get some fuel. So you know what? I think when we stop for fuel, I'm gonna call Justin and see if we need anything, because I kind of came to this small town. It's close to us, but it's 20 minutes away, on a whim, because we needed some milk, and then I was like, oh, I might as well do some grocery shopping. But I wasn't planning on coming here this morning, and I didn't tell him, obviously, because I wasn't planning on it. But if he needs something from here, save him the trip. This is the thing about living in the country, is you gotta pre-plan what you're doing, and I did not pre-plan at all today. I kind of just got in the car and started driving. That's fun. It's gonna be a little expensive to make hay this year. That's significantly higher than last year. That was cold. I just filled up the diesel jerry cans, and I didn't want diesel all over my gloves because it's impossible to get out of your gloves. So I did it without gloves on, and now my hands are a wee bit cold. I thought I'd tell you guys the full process of how I use clicker training to back a horse, in case you've never done that before and you're kind of curious about how to do it. The coolest thing is you do not need a manual how to do this. You can set up any steps that you want that make sense to you and your horse. These are just the steps that I use. And it's because it just makes my job safer. Like if a horse understands, oh my goodness, this road is horrible. If a horse understands what I want from them and they have an active desire to like try and do well, which clicker training does put into horses, then my job is so much safer. Like I can't even tell you how much safer it is. The other thing is it just creates this incredible language of yes, that's exactly what I want, versus the horse guessing, like, is that what you want? Like if you put your leg on a horse, they go forward, but like teaching them that if they don't know that's what you want, they're like, why are you squeezing me? So it kind of bridges information the way I do it. So first what I do is I teach them the words walk, trot, canter, and park loosely on the ground. And once they know those words, when I go ahead and get on them, then they're like, oh, okay. Oh, my dash cam is moving around. I apologize. There we go. Then once they know those words, then when you go to get on them, they're like, not a big deal. I know exactly what you want. So you would say walk, and you'd give them a little squeeze at the same time, and then eventually you do not need the word walk, you just take the word walk away, and the squeeze means go forward. So it's just a wonderful way of bridging groundwork and moving it into the written like aspect. So you might be like, well, how on earth, oh my camera, you might be like, how on earth do you ask the horse, to learn at liberty the words walk, trot, canter? You start off slow. You just make up steps that work for you, but these are the steps I use. First I start off in a lead rope, and I'll ask them to walk, and as soon as they take a step forward, I'm going to cluck my tongue and give him a treat, and he's going to go, oh, okay. So then he starts learning on a rope that the word walk means go forward into a walk. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say trot, but I'm going to say it kind of in a different tone of voice, like kind of an uppity tone of voice, so that he goes, oh, okay, that means something else. The word walk means walk. What does this word trot mean? And so I'm going to teach him how to trot on the line, which is really important if he does any of the age classes this year as a 3-year-old. I apologize, this is the worst camera work ever. Maybe I should do this at home. Then, once he knows the words walk, trot, and park, by the way, is hard for them. They have a very hard time learning that one, usually, like the horses I've taught in the past. Then once they know that on a lead rope, then I start doing the same thing on a longer rope, like a lunge line. It's not necessarily lunging them at first, more just like walking beside them on a longer rope, and then from there it's very easy to pick up lunging. Then after that, that's when I will do walk, trot, and park loosely in the arena, and I'll also introduce the sound of a dressage crop making a sound. So if you like kind of twirl a dressage crop like this, it'll make like a little bit of a whirling sound. So that will also mean go forward. So that's something that I'll do like right off the hop. I'll do that today, in fact. So that's kind of the 3 steps I follow. It is first on a lead rope, then on a longer rope, and then loose in the arena to really test whether he knows that those 3 words, walk, trot, canter, or walk, trot, and park. And once I can do those loosely, then I teach the word canter either on a lunge or loosely in the arena. But he already knows the other one, so that one's easy. Now that he knows all of that on the ground and he's like trained like a puppy, then what I'll do is I'll start introducing a saddle using clicker training, and then I'll introduce introduce and bridle using clicker training. Also teach him how to lower his head. He is a very tall horse. And like, I actually have a hard time putting a halter on him, so I'm going to teach him to lower his head at some point so that when I go to put a bridle on him, I don't have to like reach up to the sky to put the bridle on. I'm at home now. Time to time to unload some groceries and then off to the barn to play with Tutu. What is he doing? Playing King of the Mountain. Oh, hamster. Okay. I got home, put the groceries away, and had lunch. And then this weather started. I actually knew it was coming in, but kind of forgot about it. But so on my way out to the barn, I'm going to grab Hammy. But I know as I walked him down this row of this fence line, he's going to get probably pretty excited. They all get a little excited in this type of weather. Oh, yeah, they're all making just such good decisions. I think it's time for the herd to come in. The roads are going to start getting sporty. I actually had 2 people already cancel for tonight because by the time 8 p.m. rolls around, it's going to be probably a little bit ridiculous out there. And so I don't think I'm coaching tonight. Oh, please don't run. All right, I got to get out there. I put the dogs out while I was getting my clothing on. Are you going to come in? And they didn't even leave the stairs. I think the animals sense a storm is coming. And I no longer have... No, I know, sweetheart. This is sometimes the way he uses a leash. Girls, sit. No, sweetie. I no longer have a rope halter for Hammy because he doesn't like chains over his nose, but I feel like for safety I might have to have some extra leverage just in case. But he does handle rope halters much better than a chain. He actually hates the chain. You ready to come in, buddy? Yeah, you are ready to come in. And Daisy and Sparks want to come in. Look at the Sparks. How's the hay? I know, he's been playing with them for about 20 minutes. You ready to come in, Tuey? Tuey wants in that paddock. He's like, that's where the play is happening. That's where the Tuey.
Higher, you could just walk right across.
Yeah. Ay. Ozzy. He just... You're such a complicated boy. That was Hammy's blanket, which was in perfect shape until we gave it to Oz. Then it looked like that for a day before Oz did this all on his own. Ay. Leave the easiest ones to handle till last. I'll put the lids on the waters. I didn't put the lid on Hammy's water yet. That's the water. And Ozzy likes to use the lid as a frisbee. And we will find this everywhere in this paddock. It's just a feed tub. It helps insulate the water from the cold. So we're going to take him to the arena. The wind outside might be a factor, but he is very brave, and we really like our young horses to get used to stuff. especially before you get on them. You're kind of a dirty boy. What a gentleman. Normally that wind will rev them right up. And today was his first day back out with his herd. And this is how he's behaving. He's just, you can't even tell that he's turning 3 this year. Do you remember what his birthday is? Maisie's is May 2nd. I think Hammy's is May 4th. Are you the 16th? I can't remember.
So he's 2 years, 10 months, so he's essentially 3.
He's essentially 3. I'm gonna have to look up when your birthday is. That's a bad mom moment. All right, I wouldn't call him clean, but I don't want to rev him up. So we're gonna take him to the arena. Would you mind carrying that for me, please? All right, sweet boy. Where my gloves are. Oh, they might be in my pockets. Door. Okay.
Slippery.
Slippery. We won't come back through that door. Oh, Justin's doing facility things.
Well, just so the door can close.
Okay. You're okay. What a good boy you are. All right. Well, I'm just going to get right into it because we only want to do a 15-minute session. In fact, I'm going to put a timer on my watch. Well, hello. It is future Nadine. It's the following day. We did clicker train Tuey. I'm going to insert some clips, but I should have seen this coming. And this is where horses remind you not to skip steps. So I had a goal and I actually had to backtrack because Tuey was doing this thing called mugging, basically. And I'll get into like what that is, but very helpful. Basically, I definitely should have seen it coming. So Tuey hurt himself, and he was inside in a stall, and then he was in modified turnout for about 2 months. And while he was inside, he's the sweetest thing in the whole wide world, and so everybody and their dog loves this horse. Like, I mean, seriously, he's so sweet. So everybody would go and cuddle with him, and he learned to invade people's personal bubble. But he also knew it beforehand because his injury actually has to do with like invading other horses' personal bubbles. And our other horses, they were just kind of used to it. Like, he would share the same blade of hay with other horses in his paddock. But we had a new horse in his paddock who didn't know his personality and probably just got frustrated. This other horse is very, very sweet and super kind as well. Also probably doesn't know what a personal bubble is. And while they were playing, this other horse bit him, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure this wasn't a kick, this was a bite, because given the infection that followed afterwards, it makes sense that it was a bite. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, he was chewing on the wall, but his head was out of my space. I think it's really important to teach a horse this big manners right away. And he really has no personal concept of what personal space is. That's why he got hurt. So anyway, we have had to, after yesterday's training session, and we kind of knew this before, okay, we need to change his personal life a bit. So we have changed the herd that he goes out in. He's going out with less playful horses. It's not that they're mean or anything like that. They're just not playful. They're not even senior horses. They're, you know, in their teens though, but they're just not, they won't play with him as hard as the other herd that he was in. So they're actually going to probably teach him how to play. And they're also going to say to him kindly, get out of my space. Like, you were too close. It's kind of, you've seen Steinfeld where they're talking about the close talker? That's Tuey. He's a close talker. So anyway, that leads to yesterday's training session. In that Tutu, he was basically mugging me. So even before I kind of like introduced the treats, he was in my personal space. He was wrapping his head around me. He was just completely not paying attention to what the heck he was doing. And granted, there was a lot of wind yesterday, and like there was like a lot of other factors. He doesn't care though. Like, he's very brave, and he does not care about like factors about what's going outside the arena. But he is a young horse. So rather than teach him the words walk and trot on a lead rope, we basically I had to teach him, you stay in your personal space. And it's been a while since I've had to teach that. So I kind of was like, hey, so how am I going to teach this? And I basically had to use my problem solving skills of, you're invading my personal space. So at first I was like holding up my hand saying, don't enter my space. I wanted to give him some sort of visual cue. That wasn't working. I'm like, all right. So holding up my lead rope, that wasn't working. So then I'd held up a crop. And if he goes to enter my space, I'll hold it up. Park. Up. 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 Hey, hey, hey. Hey. 1, 2, 3. Up. 3, 4, 5. No. Okay, so it's not perfect, but keep in mind this is his second ever clicker training session. And it's been like 2 months since his last one. Eventually I started using like a sound cue, and it was like, hey, hey, like it was kind of like a, like anytime he entered my space, I would make a kind of like an annoying sound basically, until he was like, oh, okay. So towards the end, he got it. The other thing that I should mention with clicker training is before I started right in on the clicker training, but he's young, he hasn't done anything in 2 months. He had an excess level of energy. So we actually just were like, all right, we're gonna let you loose in the arena. So yeah, a young horse just needs to get this out. Go play. Wow.
Just about reached the ceiling on that one.
Yeah. Don't. Thank you. And we have been given the go-ahead by the vet to like go ahead and let him loose. Like he's that ready to start on training. So he kind of tore out like a crazy horse. But then after he like got out a certain amount of energy, have you ever seen a kindergarten kid? They have to get out a certain amount of energy, and then they're like, okay, now I can think. So that was yesterday. It was like a disorganized mess. But today, now that he's gotten out that energy yesterday, and we started in on the, you stay in your personal bubble, like get out of my bubble, you stay in your personal bubble. That is exactly what I'm gonna visit today. Not necessarily going to be teaching him the words walk, trot, and park. Maybe a little bit of perk today. But mostly, you have to lead politely. And also, if a horse enters your space, another one I've seen other people use is if they enter your space, you make a sound. So you can like rub your jacket or something like that. That wasn't necessarily working for him. The annoying sound of "hey," that seemed to work for him. Yeah, so as long as I stay consistent with, I feel like I like the word "a," like said a little bit sharply, because one, he listened to it, and he's a big boy, so I need him to listen. But two, if he's doing something that I don't like in the future, that sound could be like, "oh, mom said no." So that's the one I think I'm gonna go with. This is me problem solving and planning out what I'm gonna do. That's the coolest thing about clicker training, is it's very individual to your horse. You can kind of work with it as you go and be like, okay, what sound do I want to mean this? So that's the sound I'm going to use. I've just decided I'm going to make an annoying 8 if he goes to do something that I don't like. The other thing is, somebody asked me the other day, like, if you're doing clicker training, to be positive and stuff, does that mean you don't discipline? Absolutely not. You absolutely have to discipline. So I was counting to 5 to get him to be in his own space. And eventually he's going to go, "oh, I can't get the treat until I get out of her space." No. So just because I'm using clicker training doesn't mean that I don't discipline him at the same time, like if he is bad. Bark, bark. Nope. Nope. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yes, he did back up. He didn't stay still, but he didn't enter my space. Nope. Good boy. So they are a very big animal, and basically I'd rather use a strong pressure on the lead rope once versus a nagging pressure on the lead rope that means nothing to the horse over time a million times. So I'd rather lay down the rules where they listen versus, have you ever heard, a parent go to a kid, "go clean your room, go clean your room, go clean your room, go clean your room." Eventually the horse just doesn't, or the kid doesn't even hear it, and so nagging does not work. So I firmly believe in being positive, but I also believe in the horse has to obey, their leader. And when he was younger, that was his mom, and his mom would use physical pressure to be like, "you need to go stand in your own space," or, good moms, some mares just let the baby does whatever they want, which isn't a good thing, because then they become complete delinquents. But Tuey's mom is actually a pretty experienced mom. I actually know some of his siblings, and they all seem quite sweet. Anyway, so that's Tuey. Tuey's problem is that he's overall too friendly and he needs to learn how to be politeness, just polite. The plan today of teaching the words walk, trot, he's not ready for that yet. He has to learn manners first, and not mugging me for treats. That is the first number one thing that he's got to learn. Now, mugging, if you're wondering what that term means, that is where a horse kind of invades your personal space looking for treats. Tuey wasn't necessarily looking for treats. He was mugging me in general for just love. just because that's what he does in his stall. So it's not that I don't want him to cuddle. I do want him to have that aspect of his life, because I love cuddling with him, but I also want him to learn when he is working, you stay in your personal space. And then also when he goes outside during the day with his friends, the new friends that he has right now, they're very sweet, but they're older horses, and they're just gonna be just go away. They'll tell him gently to go away, whereas the herd that he was in before was yeah, let's do this, let's play hard. So Mr. Tuey's just gonna he's gonna grow up to be a big boy very, very quickly. All right, so today, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to ride Hams first. I won't film it, just today this vlog is about Tuey. And then we're gonna get into riding Mr. Tutu when Justin has time to film me after he's done stalls. I rode Marv and Hams and they were perfect. They were really good boys. Now I'm on my way to go get Tuey. And I think what I'm gonna do is first I'm gonna let him have a play while I move the jumps out of the way. And then that way he gets some excess energy out before I put his mind to work. I want to show you guys what a good herd he's in right now. Oh my gosh, he was so quiet before. And now he's teaching Compass how to play the way he plays, which is not really... I can spot them. They're way back there. Whoops, switch herd. That might not be a good combination. Why does he just do this to every herd he goes into? Stop playing so hard. Now I'm on to Tuey. But I thought what I'd do is I'd let him loose in the arena while I move the jumps because we're going to harrow. So I'm going to move the jumps out of the way so we can do like a really good harrow. But he might as well have some arena time before we put his noggin to work. And that is so key with these babies, like making sure that they don't have excess energy where they can't think. So anyway, as long as he doesn't eat everything in the arena, this is a good idea. But he does like to put things in his mouth. Oh, there we go. You can cover the ground, buddy. Wow. I probably just recorded the ground, but did he ever just have a nice strike off? Hey, 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 hey. This might have been a horrible idea. Come on, get out of there. Yeah, let's not put that in your mouth, okay, sweetie? You're such a good boy. Yeah, you are. I'm gonna put this camera down in a Tuey safe location so I can't knock it over. And then start moving some jumps. Already, we don't know what personal space is. Back to learning. All right. So like I said in the car, I'm going to use the sound because he seems to listen to that. Eyes up while I'm walking. And I want him to walk up here. There we go. Eyes up. Nope. He's like stalling out the engine, so it's hard to walk. So I'm just gonna get a forward momentum here. Park. And the treat comes to him. Well, that was already better than yesterday. Good boy. Eyes up. He's got to walk forward. Ah. 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 So I kind of lift my hand, which he's overreacting to, but if he enters my space, come on, walk. Ah! Nope, you're in my space. That was better. You can talk if you want, by the Sure. This is better. Right there. He was in his own space walking beside me. Come on. There you go. This is so much better. Ah! Ah! Wow. Better than yesterday, hey? Yeah, yesterday was a monster. Ah! I feel like he had excess energy and was like a kid and couldn't think. Ah! You walk up here. Up here. Up here. Boy. Ah! Ah! So, asking him to hold it longer that time. And then now, I'm gonna count, because I couldn't even count yesterday. Like I would stop and try and count so that he would learn sequence. Like he's got to hold something for a set period of time. But he was so distracted and such a monster. As soon as I started counting, he he was all over me. Ah! Park. Wow. Good boy. Like we haven't gotten into it really. I mean, this is just the start of session 2, so that's like after 1.5. That sound worked better than the visual aids yesterday. Well, and then also me raising my hand, that seems to be working. Just if I put my hand in my pocket, it's fine. He's also learned that if he puts his head that way, I'm more likely to give him a treat. So that's actually, he's learning, oh, I got to move my head out of her space. Hey, walk beside me. Come here, buddy. I was saying in the vlog, like earlier this morning, that he had better manners as a yearling than he did as a 2-year-old. Like when he became 2, he was like, oh, I forgot everything. Come here. Look at this. Good boy. I'm going to pick a different location to stop. Raising my hand actually means something now, so that's awesome. Come on, come on. And park. Ah, ah, ah. Nope. Nope. Ah, ah. Good boy. Ah. Good boy. We're going to learn manners. All right. Ah. Park. What a gentleman. Hammy, if you're wondering, he is 16.3.5. Yeah, we measured him. Yeah, 16.3.5. And he is turning 3 in like 2 months. Oh my gosh, did I say Hammy? Yeah. Hammy is definitely not. Hammy is a midget. He's almost 17 hands, yeah. Hammy's like, he just carries himself big. He's very small. And Hammy's dad, I think, was 17 too. So I don't know why Hammy's so small. Ah. So this is young horse stuff. That he held for a little bit longer, even. Okay, walk. I'm gonna do this for two more circles, and then I'll start introducing the word walk and park. Park. Ah. 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 No. No. And I don't even mind that he's like turning his head that way. Like not straight, like he's turning it that way. No. This is the harder part because now I'm not clicking right away, so I've moved on to step 2. So it has to hold it. That's okay, I don't mind that. Okay, now stand. Now he's got it. No. Yeah, holding it longer is tougher. He doesn't really. Ah, no, no. Doesn't mean back up. You will get it, don't worry. Ah, nope. Nope. There we go. Nope. You still, ah! You don't enter my space to get the treat. No. There you go. Nope. There you go. Ah! Stop. There we go. Little bit of military school here. And then I'm going to give him a mental break. I'm just going to let him play in the arena for a minute before I put him back to work. You're so pretty. Good boy. Park. Park. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I've used the word park a couple of times yesterday and today, and that was the first time ever. And I wonder if he recognized it. There we go. Or if he just came to me, like if it was just an off chance. I'm gonna try that again. Okay, off you go. I'm gonna use a lunge. I don't like using this because in case he puts his head there. Come on. Boy. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna use a lunge whip. Personal space. Poor horse has none. Trot. Trot, good boy. There we go. Good boy. There you go. All right, normally I teach this on the lead rope, but trot. Trot, good boy. And park. Park. So it's totally coincidence that he just stopped right there, and I'm fine with that. Boy. Yeah, I think so too. He's pretty smart. Okay, trot. Trot. Good boy. Keep trotting. Keep trotting, sweetie. And park. So I kind of pre-planned that one because I thought he was going to stop there. Good boy. Okay. Trot. Trot. Good boy. Trot. And park. Park. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. I'm actually surprised because normally I teach this on a lead rope and then on a kind of lunge line, but he just seemed to want to learn it off off the lunge, and that's the coolest thing about clicker training is you can make up the steps as you go for each individual horse. And yeah, and that's the thing about young horses. You have to keep the training session short. So he's done at park. Ooh. Park. Whoa. Park. There we go. Good boy. Yeah, he's mentally done. You can sense it about him, eh? He's like, what? Can you imagine? Could you imagine a kindergarten student where they're like, at the end of the day, these poor teachers. Yeah, especially the first month, like September of their kindergarten year, they're done. Okay, the snow is very pretty, but I'm kind of done. it's March 18th or something. What's that? I mean, they're fluffy and they're beautiful, but we have enough. Look at these. Oh, it'll be July before it melts. All right, you want to go back outside, buddy? Yeah, let's go back outside.